Hey, just let me turn on my lighting really quick.
Okay, great.
Hi. Yeah.
Hey, hi everyone.
So nice to meet. It's so nice to see all of you guys.
It's nice to see you too. So, so I'll just start by introducing Reset Revolution. We are a group of high school students that aims to raise awareness about various social justice issues. And so today we're joined by Swetha. How should I pronounce your name?
Hi. It's Swetha actually.
Swetha, okay. And we're going to be talking about the struggles of being a woman in STEM and other male-dominated fields. So could you just start by introducing yourself, maybe where you're from, just a bit of background about yourself?
Yeah, sure. So hello, my name is Swetha. I live in Dallas, Texas, United States. I am 19 years old. I'm a college student and I go to college at UT Austin and I'm a computer science major. Um, I'm also the founder of Melodies for Math, which is an initiative that makes math more relatable, engaging, and creative. We do this through Math Songs, a Discord server that has almost 1,000 members, and are like and more exciting projects along the way. So we grew exponentially over the last few months to have 66,000 followers on TikTok and a
Wow.
bunch of yeah. So I'm now working on like in the fields of STEM and entrepreneurship at the same time because obviously I'm growing this project as a STEM college student while also trying to make this my full-time thing. So business models, business strategies, monetization, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and that pretty much brings me on to my next question, which is about your education involvement in STEM, which you kind of covered. But could you talk a bit about about your journey through STEM, maybe like through high school and college?
Yeah, sure. So, throughout my whole life, I didn't really seem like I found it really hard to fit myself into a category because I guess I was at that point in which I just wanted to do well in all my classes and excel in all my classes just to like get validation or to like impress people, which I guess ties into a lot of the topics that we might talk about, like imposter syndrome. And so I couldn't really fit into a category that way because like I'm decent at STEM. I also love music. I'm an art person. But then I see all of these boys who are like way more like STEM coded, or I feel like they were only talking about STEM. And so that's why I felt, I don't know if I belong because I'm not as like hardcore like as they are. Also, there's one thing in which I'm not good at anything that has like Olympiad after it. So like math Olympiad, science Olympiad, no, I suck at those. Because it's like you just have these questions and you have to like there's like one clear answer and there's like a test environment and everything. And it's like that's not my style. Like I don't do that. Science fair is also a big no-no for me, although I'm a lot more open to it now because I know I can kind of see like potential for creativity or something that I could do. But yeah, I guess only when I discovered like computer science, like in my CS classes, a lot in high school, like what we did was it was like I don't think it was creative based, but I think later through web development, app development, and game development, etc., I learned that I could showcase my creativity through computer science, and it can be utilized for every field imaginable. So
Yeah.
that's kind of what wanted me to major in computer science because of all the endless possibilities that it has.
Yeah. So what I'm getting is that you like to combine your creative side with your STEM side.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
with my analytical side because I actually realized I thought I was like more creative than analytical, but now it's like I think there's a balance between the two because I can be pretty analytical a lot of times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So could you talk a bit about what general and overall struggles women face in STEM and where these issues are coming from? What is the root of these issues?
I guess a lot of struggles that like women face in STEM is right now like there aren't like the like STEM is still like pretty like male dominated, and so that's why like many women like might feel that that they're out of place because they
Mm-hmm.
feel like that there are not like other people who can like who can personally relate to the struggles that that they go through.
Yeah.
There could also be like a lot of men who might be like misogynistic like towards women like in these STEM fields who are like who don't take them seriously. and
Mm-hmm.
who might, like take credit for their ideas.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like since it's more like accepted or like more common for men to be in STEM than women are, at least in this stage, although things are improving, like I and a lot of other women, like we feel like we have to like overwork and overexert ourselves to prove that we belong here like as much, because I feel like with men they probably don't have to prove that they belong here as much, but for
Yeah.
women, especially in like colleges and many jobs, I think this also applies to people of color. So like
Mm-hmm.
they might, so like a lot of like people might say, oh, you're only here because you're a woman, or you're only here because we had to fulfill, maybe had to fulfill a quota of like
Yeah.
people that we need. And so that's why they're like, no, I truly feel like I'm here because I belong. And so we have to like push extra hard to justify that we belong here and that the choice of them picking us was justified, which is where imposter syndrome comes in, because you feel like you don't belong.
Yeah. I've also heard stories about women in male-dominated fields often being talked over and being like interrupted and just in general being underestimated. And I think there is this in media too, you see it, this idea that femininity and intelligence just don't work together. I don't know if you've
Yeah,
seen. Yeah.
yeah, definitely. I feel like this also kind of like, I mean, I don't know if this is like a tangent or not, but I guess one thing is like representation of like female characters in like sci-fi movies and like the media. Like I see it so many times. It's like where like in order for like a woman to be treated seriously, like they like make these characters like reject their femininity
Yeah.
in like a lot of ways. Like whether it be like them, for example, like cutting their hair, like for one thing, like that's really common. I mean, maybe some people just like short hair. I don't know, but it's like these people are like, oh, I'm not like other girls, like I don't do that. Like in that way there's also a lot of internalized misogyny even within women, in that way in which they feel like only, in which they also feel like they might have to reject femininity to be taken seriously. But
Yeah.
I feel like there should be like, there should be a balance, you know.
Yeah. I definitely agree. I've seen a lot of movies and like sci-fi movies where women just have to become more masculine before they're taken seriously by their male counterparts. Yeah. And could you talk about your some of your own personal struggles you faced as a woman in STEM and also as a woman of color, some of the instances of discrimination or just some of the other issues you've faced?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. I guess one of them is just from being like a woman in STEM in general, or just feeling like I don't belong. Because like I am part of this Discord server, like filled with people in the class of 25 for computer science, and then there's just a bunch of these other guys who like only talk about like who only to talk about tech, like without talking about a bunch of creative stuff. And then all of them like have their own websites, and then they all just kind of code in their free time. And I don't know if this is just like a male thing, but overall, just like I feel more like of like an emotionally driven person, or at least compared to a lot of other people. So I feel, will people not take me seriously for that reason? Because I guess with my work in education and stuff, like that involves a lot of emotion and empathy
Yeah.
and things regarding that. And I guess this, and then this other point that I'm about to make, it's probably more about like just me being like a woman in general. So like I actually run this Melodies from Math Discord server, right? And then so there was this person, I guess I could say a little bit of like a trigger warning, but like there was this guy who came in and I think he legit tried to like make a move on me, or like sexualize me, even though I said no to not do that. And then afterwards he kind of slid into my DMs and then
Mm-hmm.
just called me like, and then just said a lot of uncomfortable things to me. But then again he also said that he like used my videos to do well in his work, or so it's like I didn't even actively try to like quote unquote sexualize myself. All I had to do was exist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then people just came and then they tried to like make me uncomfortable, or think that they were entitled to me, or only saw me based on my looks, even
Mm-hmm.
though that's not like what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
I'm just trying. And I guess this is a problem for women across like almost all fields, about like, or all they have to do is to just exist, and then people don't like
Yeah.
treat them seriously for their work, but for like other things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, what can be done to improve the situation from both the institutional side, high schools, colleges, and also from the individual side? What can we do as people to try to combat these issues?
I guess one thing that that we can do right now is just to like educate like boys especially and men or because like I tell my brother about like about the fact that like hey like women can do STEM, women can be empowered, and overall like he's more accepting. I also tell him that it's okay for him to like showcase emotions because he's
Hmm.
also like a really emotional person.
Yeah.
And so it's like you should, I guess it starts like the conditioning starts from a really young age
Mm.
because I guess like because like once you're taught something at a young age it's like hard to undo it,
Yeah.
and like it's extra hard. So just to primarily like educate men, educate boys, and also educate like pretty much everyone
Yeah.
on the fact that like everyone should be accepted, because I know that even like men in a lot of ways like go through like um are not taken seriously in a lot of instances. So I
Hmm.
guess for and then like women are also capable of like attacking men at the same time. So it's like everyone has to just be accepting of each other, and I guess this all starts from like young age conditioning.
Yeah.
um
And kind of on a separate, this is kind of a tangent, but have you seen any instances, for example, of discrimination against women in STEM in at your college in which you saw a negative reaction or a lack of a reaction from teachers and from the administration? Because I definitely heard about cases of discrimination towards women that are just ignored by those in higher positions.
my first semester of college was completely online, so my
Hmm.
experience was different, but I had this really amazing professor, and he's all about like women in STEM and everything. Like he supports like everyone in STEM, and he truly believes that everyone can do it. Like if you put the work and like get the help, like which he provides. Another thing for him is he also supports like people in like liberal arts and fine arts too, which is really good to hear because he actually makes comics. He makes comics explaining computer science topics, and he even did a TED talk, which got millions of views. Another thing that he said that still kind of resonates with me is he said, like, you can call me whatever you want, but if there's another like female professor, you'd better refer to her as doctor because she worked hard to earn that title. So if you disrespect like a woman in like in like any field, it does not sit right with me. Like those were like that's what he said, and I
Yeah.
love that.
So, on a more hopeful note, what changes do you hope to see in the future? What changes do you think can be achieved? What do you hope will be achieved 5, 10 years from now for women in STEM? And how do you think that how do you hope that our attitudes and the attitudes of men will change in the future?
I really hope that STEM becomes like a more accessible field towards everyone. So it's not just women, but more people of color and more
Hmm.
people who are in like marginalized communities.
Yeah.
Because STEM is definitely one way, like one good way to make a positive impact on society, and to also break the cycle of poverty. So I'm really looking forward to see more people of diversified backgrounds in STEM fields, and for people to for people to be more accepting of that. But I feel like the accepting part will be kind of a challenge because you have to attack the problem at its roots.
Yeah.
But I guess one thing that I'm worried about is that I saw this post on social media in which like somebody was like there's this boy and like he and this girl were like out like and doing winter activities, and then the guy was like, what did you do for winter? And she's like, oh, I went to a coding camp. And then he's like, you're such a girl. And people were like, oh, that's positive that people are associating girls with STEM. I'm like, yeah, that is positive. But we also have to keep in note that in history, as soon as like a field became like more like women dominated, it started to lose status and people
Yeah.
began being paid less
Hmm.
because it became like a field that was populated by women. So
Yeah.
hopefully this does not happen with fields regarding tech, because femininity should not be like so low or so negative that every time they dominate a field it becomes less valued.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely agree with what you say about once a field becomes dominated by women, it starts to lose status. I see that all the time. Like, often fields that have a lot of men are considered harder and, that they're deserving of more respect. And I think it's definitely wrong. Yeah.
And also like people like I was in this online community where people were discussing there aren't like, well, if women are meant for these fields, then how come we don't see more like female entrepreneurs and CEOs and stuff? I'm like, well, it's because like only like 2 or 3% of female CEOs actually get venture capital funding.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you need more resources to be able to successfully launch a business or like a startup. I know that firsthand. Like you need like that support network.
Mm-hmm.
And then as long as this like outward and internalized misogyny is present, then it'll just keep women where they are. So it's like we need
Yeah.
support from like everyone to be able to because to be able to break free from like whatever we were put in like with lower opportunities and stuff.
Yeah. 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 Well, it was really nice to talk to you, Swetha, and I hope everything goes well with college. And I have the utmost respect for you because I do not understand computer science. I don't understand technology. So, well, and thank you for everything you're doing with your melodies for math. I think it's great because I think there always needs to be more help out there for students with math. I know I struggle with it a lot. So thank you so much, and thank you for coming to this interview. It was really interesting to hear your perspective.
I was really happy to be here.
Bye, and thank you
Bye.
for joining and watching.
Bye.